Sup everyone, Brian here, host of the TV and Movie Trivia Podcast. It's a trivia-style podcast focusing on TV and movies. Listen in for questions like, what's the name of Michael Scott's screenplay? What do you say to view the Marauders map? What are Tony Stark's last words to Thanos in Avengers Endgame? And where does Ron Burgundy say he is when he calls the news station sobbing from a phone booth? I've covered The Office, Harry Potter, Marvel, Will Ferrell movies, Lord of the Rings, and more, with even more on the way. So play along to the TV and Movie Trivia Podcast anywhere you get podcasts, and stay tuned for more trivia. It's the Trivia Podcast where I ask you questions about stuff you might not even know, but you just might if you watch TV shows and movies. Hello and welcome to the TV and Movie Trivia Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Sheehan, and in this episode, we are kicking off Disney animated trivia with Peter Pan. Our guests today, you just heard them like 2 months ago from The Hobbit 2 Trivia, are Abby and Ashley from the podcast Sisters of the Shire. Guys, welcome back.
Hi! I'm so happy to be here. I'm so excited.
So excited.
This is Abby, by the way.
Oh, and I'm Ashley.
I'm so excited to have you guys back. Again, I think it was maybe in our bonus episode that you might have possibly listed off some demands of other movies you wanted seen on this podcast.
And they were demands. I'm glad that you understood that, Brian.
You got our letter with cutout pieces of cutout letters from magazines that says, you better do Disney trivia.
Yes, of course. And again, I know you guys are excited for Star Wars 2. I'm hoping to cover that next year, but I was so happy to get you guys back for Peter Pan trivia.
Woohoo!
Woo woo!
I have some news about this podcast episode.
Okay.
Due to being a mother, I had no time to watch the movie, so I am going in with just my knowledge of what I remember from watching it about 3 years ago. So
I was wondering if you were going to go rogue, Abby.
Okay, well, I was just going to ask, how long do you think the last showing had been? Again, for me, it's been definitely closer to 20. So I'm hoping that pays off for you.
You know what? I trust my brain. I trust my partner. We can do this, Ashley. We can do this. My son was obsessed with it. We even had a Peter Pan birthday party during 2020 when we couldn't have a real huge birthday party. And
sure.
Darn COVID.
My sweet mother-in-law sewed us all costumes.
Oh my gosh.
And I was Wendy and my husband was Captain Hook, and she even got him a wig, and it was amazing.
We will have to, I need pictures of this maybe to put on the Instagram feed or something.
Do it, Abby. Do it. You look adorable.
I have lots of pictures. My daughter was Tinkerbell and my son was Peter Pan. And my daughter was terrified of my husband in the costume.
Oh, no.
Terrified. Would not come near him.
My dad can't be Captain Hook.
And so we made him Captain Hook that was scared of fart noises.
Classic.
So if you made fart noises next to Captain Hook, he had to run away scared. So that made her feel better.
Now, did your daughter know it was him?
Well, it was a surprise. We got them dressed in their costumes, but they didn't know mom and dad also had costumes. And so they came into the room and she's like, what the?
This is reminding me of, I saw this all the time on social media over Christmas this year, of parents dressing up as the Grinch.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Which was, I don't know, I only remember seeing this much of in the 2022 Christmas season, and all the kids that were just crying and running away as soon as the Grinch entered the room. This is what I'm picturing right now as your husband as Hook.
Yes. And it's also, for me, it was terrifying just to see him in the wig. I was like, because he has blonde short hair, and so seeing him in that long curly black wig, I was like, oh
nice.
No. It was, and he had a mustache. He even had he had the whole getup. It was pretty awesome.
That's amazing. Well, before we get any further, do you guys have a favorite animated Disney moment?
You go first, Ashley.
Well, the movie Up, just in its entirety, is the best Disney Pixar movie in the entire world. It's the greatest love story without any words.
Wow.
I just love that movie so freaking much. It's adorable. It's funny. It's heartwarming. It could both make you laugh and cry back and forth throughout the entire movie. So just that entire movie.
I went to see it and people said you're going to cry in the first 10 minutes. I was thinking, I don't believe you. And wow, what an emotional roller coaster the beginning of that movie is.
Mm-hmm.
I know. It's too much.
What's funny, though, is I actually am the Carl and my husband is the Ellie. Because I'm like the homebody that doesn't want to go anywhere. Like, man, and my husband's kind of like the, let's go.
You have your own adventure book and everything.
I do, actually.
Oh, very cool. Abby, a favorite moment?
Oh, it's really hard because I in my brain, I go to the ones that I loved when I was little, that I would run the VHSs until they were like dead.
Yeah, sure. The ones with the most sentimental value.
Like Aladdin, and I used to watch Lion King and Beauty and the Beast like every day, and I still remember just popping that VHS and the VCR and just like loving it. But I think recently my newest favorite scene that like makes me both so happy, it makes me cry too, because it's just it pulls out your heartstrings for being just this happy moment, is, don't come after me, Disney diehards out there, that this is also a Pixar, technically a Pixar, is in Coco.
Okay.
At the very end, I love Coco, by the way. I love Coco. That's a family favorite for us.
Surprised you didn't say Encanto.
Encanto is, I'm half Colombian, and so Encanto is very special to me because it's a Colombian Disney movie, and I was like, I never thought I'd have that in my lifetime.
Very cool.
And as a freckled, redheaded Colombian lady, it was really cool to see myself represented as like in Encanto, her aunt has red hair and she's lighter skinned and she has freckles, and I was so excited. But anyway, side note from that, in Coco, when he sings the song called My Proud Corazon, which is my heart, a proud heart, and he's talking about how much he loves his family, and then it's the montage of when his great-great-grandpa finally gets to cross over on Dias de los Muertos and go see his family he hasn't seen in so long. It gets me every time. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. The song and the little boy that sings it and how happy they are. And then you see him with his wife and daughter Coco together. Oh, it kills me. I sob every time, but it's like happy tears. It's not sad. It's like they're finally together. Everybody's happy. He can play his guitar without his grandma smashing it.
Pixar really nails that to a T.
They do.
It's so good. I love it so much.
All right. Well, before we get started with Peter Pan trivia, to my current listeners out there, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you rate and subscribe and get some friends to do the same. You can send in your own trivia, email the show, and sign up for my Patreon to get 4 sweet bonus episodes a month. But more on that after some trivia. Abby and Ashley, are you ready to go?
I think so. Let's go, Ashley. Second star to the right. Let's do this.
Straight on till morning.
All right, starting with the easy round. Question number 1. Who in the Darling house is the supreme authority on Peter Pan? Question number 2. Who is Peter Pan's assistant, and who is Captain Hook's assistant? Question number 3. What's the name of Peter Pan's gang? Question number 4. Where is Peter from? Question number 5. How did Captain Hook get his hook? Question number 6. What's the giveaway that the crocodile is coming? or nearby? Question number 7. In what city and town are Wendy's family from? And question number 8. Wendy tells her mother not to lock the door because she has Peter Pan's what? Going back to question number 1. Who in the Darling house is the supreme authority on Peter Pan?
Wendy.
Wendy is correct.
It's okay. I love how they say her name because it's not Wendy, it's Windy.
Well, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I also read trivia that this either movie or story invented the name.
Yes, that is true.
Oh.
I think it's the book or the play or whatever. Play turned into a book, turned into a movie.
Sure.
I know 3 little girls named Wendy, and they're always named after the Wendy from Peter Pan,
Aww.
which I think is very adorable.
And not the burger joint?
I wouldn't judge him for that. That place, those chicken nuggets.
But that's why the husband agreed, because he was like, oh, yeah, I love Wendy's. You're talking about Wendy's, right?
He's like, yeah, we can get Wendy's. Wait, is that what you wanted?
Oh, man. I will have to say, again, I have a lot of gripes with Peter in this movie. He is so dismissive of her.
Oh, don't get me started.
Yeah, he is the true villain.
Man, and at the very end, she's telling her parents about everything, and she's like, oh, and then there was Peter. He was the most wonderful of them all. And I'm like,
He was a jerk!
did you see what I just saw?
Yeah. Were you there the whole time?
She needs the book. He's just not that into you.
Yeah.
Question number 2. Who is Peter Pan's assistant, and who is Captain Hook's assistant?
You take Peter Pan, Ashley.
Tinkerbell.
Mm-hmm.
And then, is it Smee? Because whenever I hear it, I think of his voice. He sounds like he's saying Shmee,
Oh, yeah.
but it's Smee, right?
It's Smee, yeah.
Yeah, that's what the subtitles said anyway. But Tinkerbell and Mr. Smee are correct. Mr. Smee reminds me a lot, now that I think about it, of Le Fou, Gustan's assistant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
LeFou. He was the same voice as the White Rabbit, in case you're wondering. It bothered me for a while. I was like, is it Winnie the Pooh? No, that's not it. It's the White Rabbit.
Yeah. I love his character.
I was just talking to my husband about that. He is the comic relief in the whole movie. There's not a ton of comedy with Peter Pan. It's all Smee.
He's the backbone. He carries that movie.
He does.
I will say, though, for being a gang of, evil pirates, their songs are so jolly.
Yeah.
They're so chipper. And I was thinking, how did Smeagol even get on there? How did he make it to be a pirate? I want his backstory.
I think everybody seems really jolly. I think Captain Hook's the odd one out here.
Maybe he has scurvy, guys. Maybe he has scurvy. He's just not feeling very good.
He needs an orange.
Well, we'll be talking about that more in a second. But first, question number 3. What's the name of Peter Pan's gang?
The Lost Boys.
The Lost Boys. Which, that name makes me so sad. Like, as a mom, I'm like, no.
Aw.
I want to give them all hugs.
I think I had a mother.
They don't even know what a mother is. Question number 4. Where is Peter from?
Technically Neverland. I mean, we don't know his origin story.
That's where I was looking for.
So, like, in the book,
In the book, he's always there.
he's always there, but then in the movie Hook, he was like a baby that was born, and then he like rolled away in his stroller and was taken to Neverland by fairies.
Because as a baby, he somehow knew he didn't want to grow up. He made a choice
Yeah.
somehow.
So in Hook, he rolls away in his stroller. And we have a joke because on a super, super windy day, when I was picking up my other kids from school and I had my little baby in his stroller, the wind took his stroller away. Like, he was literally rolling away. And my friend had to go run and like grab it. And she even made the joke. She's like, I didn't want him to turn into Peter Pan. He's not the good guy. And I'm like, thank you for saving my baby to not go to Neverland.
I really do want to talk to you guys more about Hook, but I think we might need to save it for the bonus episode to really get into it. But first, question number 5 here. How did Captain Hook get his hook?
Okay, I was flip-flopping in my brain because did the crocodile bite it off or did Peter Pan cut it off and feed it to the crocodile?
Second one.
He cuts it off and feeds it to the crocodile?
Yes, but what's funny is in the movie, like you might consider just a childish prank. What kind of childish prank involves cutting off another human being's hand?
I thought the exact same thing. You're right. Peter Pan cut off his hand.
And then Captain Hook's like, yeah, it was a prank, I guess, but feeding it to the crocodile, that was a step too far. Like, that's where you draw the line?
Wow. Well, I was actually just about to ask you that as a bonus part 2 of that question. I'm still giving you that point. You were now 6 for 5.
Woo!
Woohoo!
That brings us to question number 6. What's the giveaway that the crocodile is coming?
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. He swallowed an alarm clock randomly.
Yes, the tick-tock of the alarm clock is correct.
Is he okay? I mean, it hasn't passed through his system?
He seems fine. He's a jolly crocodile.
He is.
Question number 7 for 2 points. In what city and town are Wendy's family from?
So I made note of this because it is technically London, but I mean, that's just like an overall thing. I'd never heard it said when I was watching it before, but I was, taking special notes this time in my brain. It's like Bloomsbury or something.
London and Bloomsbury are correct.
Wow,
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
not have guessed that.
And to end the easy round with question number 8, Wendy tells her mother not to lock the door because she is Peter Pan's what?
Is it his shadow?
His shadow is correct. When I hear about Peter Pan, I feel like what's mentioned a lot with it is the fact that his shadow gets away or his shadow almost has a mind of its own. In the movie, it's mentioned here and never again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I thought it would play more of a role.
I'm not sure if either of you have gotten this far. I know Abby watched Once Upon a Time for a little bit, but there's a show Once Upon a Time. It's a bit intense. I mean, there's like 8 seasons of it. But they have a really interesting play on Peter Pan, and he can literally, the shadow is what kidnaps the children from London or, the real world and brings the children to Neverland.
Painting Peter in a slightly better light.
It's on his orders, but yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's still a monster.
Yeah, he's still a monster.
He's still the worst.
Jeez
still the worst.
Louise. Well, at the end of round 1, you guys are 10 for 8 right now.
Woo-woo!
Yay!
I have 7 medium questions next here for you, starting with question number 9. Who is the Darling family's nursemaid? Question number 10. What 3 things does Peter Pan say it takes to fly? Question number 11. How does Tinkerbell communicate? Question number 12. What does John bring with him to Neverland? Question number 13. What are all the lost boys dressed as? Question number 14. What instrument does Peter Pan play? And question number 15 for 2 points. How does Peter try to stick his shadow back on, and how does Wendy do it? Going back to question number 9, who is the Darling family's nursemaid?
Nana, the dog.
Okay, so I did not notice that until I watched it as an adult with my children, and I was like, wait, did this family employ a dog to watch their children? And they even gave her a little uniform?
The uniform is what killed me.
And she does her best. She does so much for those kids. But in my brain, I'm like, wait a minute. Did they make a dog be in charge of these children?
And she even questions herself, will they be safe without Nana?
And at some point, the dad's talking about getting rid of the dog, saying the cost of good help or something. Like, are you even paying the dog? If you got rid of that dog, you would have nobody.
I just want her to get a check at the end of the week. And
That's how the movie should have ended.
Well, did you read in one of the things they were going to tell Peter Pan from Nana's point of view?
I think I did read that in the IMDb trivia.
That's adorable.
Yes.
That would have been interesting. Would have been a different movie with the dog locked up.
Well, they were going to have Nana go too.
That'd be cute.
Question number 10 for a possible 4 points. What 3 things does Peter Pan say it takes to fly?
Your passport. No.
Faith, trust, and pixie dust.
That is absolutely correct. He then follows up with you have to do one more thing.
Think of a wonderful thought.
Think happy thoughts is exactly what I was looking for. Good for 4 points. And speaking of flying, question number 11, how does Tinkerbell communicate? I should have said, and speaking of pixie dust, that would have been a smoother segue.
Okay. So it sounds like bells, and I'm not sure. You need to watch the movie Finding Neverland now that you've seen. Have you ever seen the movie Finding Neverland, Brian?
I have not.
It will make you cry. I'm just going to put that out right there. It's about J.M. Barrie. It's like him writing the book of Peter Pan, and it's adorable. But they literally have it with like a little bell in the movie, and it's like literally a light reflected on like a mirror.
Oh, I do believe I might have read that this was maybe the first like human kind of portrayal of Tinkerbell, how she was always maybe a light more so.
Interesting.
And maybe this was the first time they gave her, a body.
Huh.
Question number 12 for 2 points. What does John bring with him to Neverland?
His umbrella and his top hat.
Absolutely correct.
Oh.
Oakley's disappointed with you, Abby.
I know.
Question number 13. What are the Lost Boys dressed as?
So do you want each individual animal or just as woodland creatures?
This was all I was looking for was animals for this round of trivia.
Come on, man. It's us.
Yeah.
But question number 14 here. What instrument does Peter sometimes play?
The pan flute. It's a pan flute.
A Peter Pan flute.
Oh, man. Is that why he picked it?
Probably.
Maybe. I think it's more of like the lore of like pixies and fairies and stuff that play those flutes.
I am not familiar with that lore.
I thought it was like the Greek mythology of Pan.
What is that?
He's like a forest god of like,
Yeah.
think of like happy things.
I thought he was more of a trickster.
Oh, man. Well, a combination of those two things is exactly what Peter is.
Right?
Yes.
Interesting.
Kind of devious, kind of fun and happy.
Sure. And to end the medium round with a 2-pointer, question number 15. How does Peter try to stick his shadow back on, and how does Wendy do it?
So I know Wendy sews it back on, but I couldn't remember how he tries to put it back on.
It's soap. Why did he think that would work? And why was there just soap hanging around?
Oh, he tries with soap?
Yeah. He literally has a bar of soap in his hand. And apparently Wendy knows how to sew on shadows. I don't know. I feel like that'd be a really slippery, tricky fabric.
Yeah.
You guys are absolutely correct. Soap and sewing, a combination of things that don't feel like they should work.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I guess I have to ask, though, how would you stick a shadow back on?
Well, how does your shadow fall off in the first place?
Okay. All right. Yeah, I guess you maybe fall back into it?
Yeah, that's how. Yeah, I would think so. You need to like realign yourself.
Sure. Well, guys, at the end of the medium round, you are 22 for 15 right now.
We're doing it. We're doing it. We've got faith, trust, and pixie dust. We're doing this.
I have 5 hard questions left, starting with question number 16. Why did Peter Pan choose the Darling house? Question number 17. Where is Wendy most excited to go in Neverland? Question number 18. What nickname does Pan call Hook occasionally? Question number 19. What options does Hook give the captured boys and Wendy at the end of the movie? And question number 20. Who else thinks they have seen Peter Pan's pirate ship before at the end of the movie? All right, going back to question number 16. Why did Peter Pan choose the Darling house?
Because he's a creeper. No, just kidding.
Not wrong. Not wrong.
Not wrong.
Is it because he saw her reading or something and he's like, oh, she'd be a good mom to kidnap?
Technically, that'd be one way, but she would tell the boys the stories of Peter Pan. And he's a narcissist, so he's like, ooh, stories about me. Yes, please.
You know what? I'll take that. I guess there were maybe two answers here. That was definitely one that he said. He always came back to hear the stories about him. Was definitely something Peter Pan said. The narrator said something else.
Really? Oh, he'd been there before?
He said it was because there were people there who believed in him.
Who believed in him, yeah.
But I am going to give it to you because that, again, is kind of what Peter says, that he wants to keep on hearing stories about himself.
Obviously, they believe in him if they're talking about him so much.
Sure. I do have some follow-up questions to that, though. In the beginning, again, the narrator kind of describes who Peter Pan is to each person. He said, Mrs. Darling believes that Peter Pan was what?
The, spirit of youth or something like that.
Spirit of youth is correct.
Yeah.
Man, and I got one more. Who did he say the boys believed Peter Pan was?
The hero from their...
I think I'll take it.
Yeah, the hero of their stories, the hero of their play.
Yes, a real person made him the hero of all their nursery games.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I will say, though, the way the narrator phrased that, because they believed in Peter Pan, it makes me feel like Peter is Santa almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be my answer. Did they think he was Santa, that he was a magical being? But that was my answer, but I was like, I don't know.
I mean, he kind of is a magical being.
Well, and if you think of fairies, if you say you don't believe in fairies, they die. What would happen if you said, I don't believe in Peter Pan?
He cuts your hand off and feeds it to a crocodile.
Wouldn't put it past him. Speaking of Neverland, though, question number 17. Where is Wendy most excited to go in Neverland?
I love how she says it. A mermaid lagoon. A lagoon.
Mermaid Lagoon is correct.
We were only trying to drown her.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Wendy saw in that place. Peter was a jerk. Tinkerbell was a jerk. The mermaids were jerks. It wasn't... I don't know why she enjoyed that at all.
No, it was pretty to look at, but...
I mean, what child doesn't dream about being a mermaid or seeing mermaids?
What child dreams about being assaulted by mermaids?
Yeah, verbally assaulted.
Being drowned by mermaids, which actually was their origin story.
Oh, that mermaids would drown sailors?
Yeah.
You know what? I did just watch Little Mermaid again recently, getting ready for trivia here, but I think they left that part out.
Yeah. Hans Christian Andersen. No, the Grimm's brother. One of them didn't leave it out in their things, though. Creepy.
Yep. I'm sure they did it. Question number 18. What nickname does Pan call Hook occasionally?
Codfish.
Codfish is correct. Does that quite a lot, actually.
Mm-hmm. I love when the crocodile starts, clapping around with it when it splashes his hands in the water. That's, one of my favorite parts.
Question number 19 is a scene that I had questions about. What options does Hook give the captured boys and Wendy after he thinks he's taking care of Peter?
You can join the crew or you can walk the plank.
The pen or the plank is what he says, good for 2 points. And again, Wendy says don't do it, even though the boys immediately rush to it after a simple offer by Hook.
It took a catchy song.
I'm sorry, yes, it did take a catchy song.
A happy pirate song about walking off a plank.
But with her being so somber about walking off this plank, can't she fly?
She needs pixie dust. She ran out.
Gotcha. Okay. So don't think about it is what you're saying.
Well, I think she ran out of pixie dust.
I thought they could all fly.
I think Pan only gave pixie dust to the Darling family, and they can fly the whole movie except this part.
Well, they don't fly after they land, though. Again, so they go to the mermaid thing, but I don't think they... But she's barely flying at the mermaid thing.
Yeah, I think Wendy does a couple of times, I thought. Or maybe Peter's always holding her hand.
Maybe.
Yeah, I only see them fly into Neverland. I don't see them fly around Neverland. Like when they go to Neverland is when I see them flying, right? And then they don't fly again? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think their pixie dust is gone at that point.
All right. And to end the Peter Pan trivia with question number 20, who else thinks they've seen Peter Pan's pirate ship before at the end of the movie?
I would love a backstory on this. It's the dad.
Mr. Darling is correct. Yep, a very interesting intro, very Inception-like almost, where
Right?
the narrator says, this is happening now and has happened before and kind of like will always happen type deal.
Yeah.
And then we see Peter Pan's pirate ship in the clouds, and Mr. Darling's like, oh, that's very familiar.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of reminds me of Hook, the movie Hook, where the characters went there before, but then when they grew up, they lost that memory of that happening kind of situation.
Like Toodles.
Well, to talk about that a little bit, I mean, what could this possibly have all been a dream?
That was a theory that I read about.
The movie ends with Wendy waking up, to her parents coming home. It begins, she mentions something about Nana with the tonic, and in the trivia, I read that this tonic elixir is something parents would give their kids to help them go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It probably had morphine in it.
I think that's what the trivia said. I think that is actually what it said. But again, so it sounds like they might have been asleep or have taken this thing to help them sleep at the beginning. She wakes up at the end. Was it all a dream?
Morphine makes you dream crazy things. But so reading that though, I want to say, and I'm tempted to look it up again, that because of like rumors of that, they like zoomed in on the label or something, and it says like cod liver oil or something instead. Liver oil.
Oh, the tonic thing?
Ugh. Those poor kids. Blech.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, guys, at the end of Peter Pan trivia, you guys are 30 for 20. Congratulations.
Heck to the yes!
We did it! We did it!
I want a ranking, Brian, on how well we do compared with everyone else. I mean, I feel like we crush this.
You guys nailed it. But before we get started with this bonus episode here, would you guys like to plug your stuff?
Well, I'm Ashley, and we are the Sisters of the Shire podcast. We talk about the many works of Tolkien, starting with the Silmarillion. We are about halfway through the Silmarillion right now. And I just tell Abby the story of the Silmarillion in little bite-sized pieces that are hopefully easy to understand. And I can, since we're doing it in bite sizes, I can look up the characters and help you remember who they were from last week. And we help each other remember who they are by relating them to even like Avengers characters. And we just try and make it silly and fun and understandable for all the Tolkien lovers out there. So we're at Sisters of the Shire podcast. You can listen to us on all platforms, and you can follow us on Instagram at Sisters of the Shire podcast.
And these guys know their stuff. You just heard it a couple weeks ago in the Hobbit 2 trivia and in Disney trivia. So again, you guys really do always do your homework.
We're a bit of a nerds.
Yeah. Proud nerds.
Proud nerds.
And again, links to all of Abby and Ashley's stuff are in the show notes, so be sure to check them out there. We are about to record a bonus episode, so if you'd like to check that out, you can listen to all the bonus episodes on Patreon for just $2 a month. Head on over to iTunes to drop a rating and tell someone you know about the show. It would really mean a lot. Lastly, if you have questions of your own or answers to any of mine, feel free to email me at tvtriviapod@gmail.com or reach out on any of the socials at tvtriviapod. Abby and Ashley, thank you guys again so much for being here. I'm excited to do this bonus episode with you.
Woohoo! I'm so excited. This was fun.
So much fun.
Even though I made it hard on myself by not watching the movie beforehand, I think I did okay. I'm glad I had Ashley with me, but this was fun.
I appreciate you guys coming back. And listeners, thank you, and stay tuned for more trivia. Bonus episode!
Let's do this thing. Bam, 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 bam.
You probably don't know that, but that's literally what we do before we like, okay, y'all ready for this? And then Abby does that for me. And it's kind of our thing. I love it.
Pumps you up. I dig it. Whew. Continuing with questions from Peter Pan with Ashley and Abby from the Sisters of the Shire podcast. Guys, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us. It's been so fun. And I gotta say, I'm expecting my giant trophy to come in the mail for how good we're doing at this trivia. Right?
Oh boy. I always felt like I needed a themed reward for each thing. You know, for Harry Potter, it was the Goblet of Fire. For The Office, you got a Dundee. For the Marvel movies, you got the Infinity Gauntlet. What do you get for the Disney movie reward?
Castle. I want a castle.
Yeah. Please, a giant castle.
What about a castle and a snow globe? Well,
I'll take that.
Settle for that. Maybe Mickey Mouse ears.
Or
sure.
I will just also take that. Hey, Abby, you're the coolest Disney trivia person.
I can do that. I can say that for sure.
Thank you.
Say it. No.
At the end of the bonus episode, of course.
Okay. You got to earn it, I guess.
Okay. Well, with that, are you guys ready for these last 10 questions of trivia?
Yes, I am. I'm ready. We can do this, Ashley.
Heck yes.
All right. Every single question is hard.
Bring it.
Starting with question number 1. Wendy tells John that Captain Hook's hook is on which hand? Or I guess, on which hook? On which hand, yeah.
Which arm?
Which arm? There we go. Question number 2. Mr. Darling is fed up with Wendy's stories and punishes her. How? Question number 3. Where did Wendy lock up Peter's shadow? Question number 4. Why does the crocodile follow Hook? Question number 5. While recovering, Hook is bothered when Smee nails what to the door? Question number 6. Hook promises the children that if they sign up for his crew, they'll get a free what? Question number 7. How does Hook almost finish Peter off? Question number 8. Mr. Darling gets frustrated with Wendy and her stories, calling Panna and Hook what incorrect names? Question number 9, for maybe 2 points, what is Wendy's full name? And question number 10, a two-parter. What did the boys draw on their dad's shirt front? And part 2, what did that lead to? Going back to question number 1, Wendy tells John that Captain Hook's hook is on which arm?
I gotta say, these ones were hard for me. I'm struggling a little bit, but
I believe it. Not seeing this in 3 years?
I know. I mean, it's a 50-50 chance, right? He doesn't have more than 2.
I'll let you guess, Abby, but I do know it.
His left hand.
Left is correct.
Oh, okay. Whew.
Wow, I did watch later in the movie, though, just to confirm, and Hook was on his left hand.
Whew.
I would have laughed if she said that, like, so very matter-of-factly, I guess. And then if we would have gotten to Neverland and his hook was on his right hand, I think I would have gotten a kick out of that.
Yeah.
Question number 2, a line that I found very interesting. Mr. Darling is fed up with Wendy's stories and punishes her. How?
The only thing I can think of in that scene is that he threatens to fire the nanny dog.
No, he kicks her out of the nursery.
Kicks her out of her nursery. He threatens to give her her own room is how he punishes her.
How dare he?
Something I think every sibling is dying for at some point.
Especially with 2 little brothers. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, oh, darn.
No, not out of the nursery. Ooh, oh boy. Question number 3, I think one you guys answered earlier. Where did Wendy lock up Peter's shadow?
Is it the drawer in her desk?
In a drawer is correct. And, you know, the shadow was something else I was looking for like the rest of the movie to see if it was even there. And I don't think I noticed the shadow half the time. I was just expecting it to do something else. Whenever I hear about Peter Pan, I always hear about his shadow, and I'm just a little frustrated that it didn't do anything else in this movie.
Yeah. Watch the Once Upon a Time thing. I'm telling you that they get really dark with the shadow in the Once Upon a Time thing.
Maybe the sun is always right overhead, so there isn't any shadows in Neverland.
Oh, gotcha. It follows you almost.
Hey, I don't know. There's weird things going on with sun and light refraction over in that place because there's a permanent rainbow. So I don't know what's the science behind that.
When you're right, you're right. Question number 4. Why does the crocodile follow Hook?
Because it got a taste for flesh? For his flesh?
It wants his other hand?
I'll take it. For him specifically, it says, he said it liked the taste of him so much that he continues to follow him.
Like, what would be the difference, though? Like, was it a different flavor?
A wonderful aspect to a children's movie.
Yep. Crocodiles like the taste of you. Question number 5. While recovering, Hook is bothered when Smee nails what to the door?
The do not disturb sign that required apparently like 12 nails.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah, I don't remember that scene, so thank you, Ashley.
I got you.
I got a kick out of it. It did remind me of Bilbo Baggins a little bit.
Oh, yeah, with this posting the no admittance sign.
Yeah. Yep, of course I'm sociable. And then has Frodo hang up that sign.
Hang that on the door.
Question number 6. Hook promises the children if they sign up for his crew, they'll get a free...
A free tattoo! Isn't that what every little kid wants?
Yay!
Yes.
I mean, what more do you need? Is that all a bribe takes?
If they did get that, I would totally see what's the littlest one?
Michael.
The little
Mike?
Michael getting it like a tattoo of his little bear.
100%.
Yes.
100%. Question number 7. How does Hook almost finish Peter off?
I don't understand your question, I guess. Like, he almost finishes him off a few times. There was one time it was in the back, Captain?
I'm thinking specifically at the end of the movie.
Oh, like how does he almost get him?
Yeah.
He makes him promise not to fly, so he can't fly.
I'm talking about even before
So
that.
confused.
He does a trick. He promises Tinkerbell that he won't lay a hand on him or a hook.
Or a hook.
So he does this other thing to almost...
Okay, so the bomb.
The bomb is what I was thinking of.
Okay. I'm like, which instance are you referring to? The whole movie, he's trying to kill him.
I have not seen this movie in a while to remember there was a bomb. There was a bomb.
That to me felt like the closest Hook got to finishing him off.
True.
Yeah.
True.
But I think it was just planned a little poorly. It's a gift from Wendy saying, do not open until 6, the exact time the bomb is scheduled to go off. In that case, schedule the bomb to go off at 5:55.
Right.
So that you know it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my question was, why did the Lost Boys have a clock?
Where was that?
They had it like a cuckoo clock. That's how he knew, like, okay, I guess it's 12 seconds to 6 anyways.
Right.
And it was like powered by like water somehow. Like it was like a high-tech looking clock. But like Lost Boys, you're on a Neverland island.
Where you don't age.
You're not growing up anytime soon.
And have no responsibilities.
Yeah.
They gotta know when it's lunchtime.
When you're hungry.
That's a good point. Question number 8 for 2 points. Mr. Darling again gets frustrated with Wendy and her stories, calling Pan and Hook what incorrect names?
Okay, I can only remember one of them. Peter Pirate.
Yes. And it rhymes with Hook. Captain
Crook.
Crook and Peter Pirate are correct. Good for 2 points.
Thanks for the layup. Or the assist.
Yeah.
Happy to do it. Don't know if I'll be able to help with this one, but for another 2 points, question number 9. What is Wendy's full name? I guess specifically her middle.
Wendy Moira Angela Darling.
I'll take it.
Moira.
I had written down Mariah. Was it Moira?
It's Moira.
Yeah, it's Moira.
Because if you watched Hook, that's her name.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, Moira! When he's like awakening in Neverland.
Wow, what a cool Easter egg that I never put together before.
You're welcome.
I love that movie.
Thank you for that. And for another 2 points here, question number 10. What did the boys draw on their dad's shirt front in the beginning of the movie?
Okay. Let me try this one because I think I know what it is.
Okay, you got it.
Is it a treasure map?
A treasure map is correct. And part 2 of that.
Oh, gosh, I did it.
What was that treasure map supposed to lead to? What was the treasure?
Isn't it? Okay, am I wrong? Am I thinking too hard on this? What it's like from another famous pirate story, like Captain Blackbeard's treasure or something like that?
Too hard.
You're thinking too hard. It's something that belongs to their dad.
I love you. It's the golden cufflinks that he was looking for.
Ashley is correct. It is the cufflinks.
That chalk drawing, though, is very visceral in my brain.
On the shirt front?
Yeah, the chalk drawing of the map, like it was just the colors of it and the drawing of it. It's very vivid in my my memory from watching it as a kid. There's certain things that Disney just in the tonic, the texture and like look of the tonic.
Mm-hmm.
There's just certain things that just stand out in my brain from my childhood.
Interesting. Well, guys, to end the bonus round, you guys are 13 for 10. Congratulations.
We did it.
Woot!
We had faith, trust, and pixie dust on our side. Ashley, we did it.
And now I was supposed to say something to you. You're the best Disney trivia person of all time?
Yes.
Is that...
I did it.
Was that-
I need fanfare.
You need to do a Brooklyn Nine-Nine one, and then you can have People's Best Detective / Genius or whatever.
Oh, man, that was a good show.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do a Brooklyn Nine-Nine one. Abby and I would do. There's my next demand, Brian. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and Abby and I will kill.
Oh, man. I kept TV in the name of the podcast, even though I think I'm probably going to just stick to movies now. But
Yeah.
Just to give you the option, it is something I would like to revisit one day, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Just keep us in mind.
when you get to that point, it would be high time for me to rewatch Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I can tell you, you guys will be on for Star Wars trivia well before I get to Brooklyn Nine-Nine trivia.
Fair enough.
But before we get too far ahead here, would you guys like to plug your stuff one more time?
We are the Sisters of the Shire podcast, and I'm Abby, and my co-host is my cousin Ashley. And on this podcast, we are going through the works of J.R.R. Tolkien, and right now we are reading the Silmarillion. Well, technically, I am not reading it, and that's what this podcast is about. Ashley is reading it, and she is teaching me through chapter by chapter in breaking it down for me to kind of give us a more in-depth but also an easier way to learn the works of J.R.R. Tolkien. And if you are someone like me that just doesn't have the time to sit down and read, or maybe it's just kind of is a little bit too heavy of a text for you or kind of goes over your head, this podcast is perfect for you. We break it down, we make it fun, we make it hilarious, and we try to instill that love for these beautiful books that they're not out of everyone's reach. You know what I mean? They're not too hard. So we want to invite everyone to come and learn and enjoy on our podcast, The Sisters of the Shire. So if you want to join us, we are in the middle of the Silmarillion, but if you start at episode 1, you can catch up pretty quickly. And then we just finished a really beautiful part of the story. So if you haven't followed us, no worries, just jump right in, have fun. We try to make it as accessible to everybody. So join us, won't you, at the Sisters of the Shire podcast.
So the Cousins of the Shire just didn't have the same ring?
It didn't.
It sounded too Southern.
Yeah, that too. I don't have any sisters, so
Yeah.
It works. It works. Now, do you think this might have an audiobook? I also don't personally feel like I'm either motivated enough to read or something, but I love doing audiobooks. I've just been getting back into them in the last couple months. Do you think this is something that might have that?
Silmarillion does have an audiobook, but it is very, very hard to listen to because
Interesting.
I am very much an audiobook person. I grew up with audiobooks. I love them. It is too much to remember to reference back to who that character was. You need to be able to flip back and forth.
That's hard.
Unless you're listening to our podcast where I remind you of who that person is.
There we go.
It's probably not as dry. I love audiobooks, but sometimes some narrators are pretty dry and it makes it harder to enjoy the book.
The narrator's not too bad, and I love his pronunciations of some of the words, but then I look at the word that he's actually pronouncing, and I'm like, I would not have read it that way. Or that sound will not come out of my mouth.
Sure.
I have an audiobook recommendation for you, though, Brian. You said you loved Stephen Fry.
Yes, yeah.
Have you listened to Troy, or I think it's just called Hero? It's Stephen Fry retelling Greek myths, and he does an amazing job of them.
Wow, I would love to check that out. I know he's very famous for at least the British version of Harry Potter.
Right, yeah.
What? Is it Jim Dale?
Jim Dale's the American one.
I don't know if I can go against Jim Dale, though. He's so good.
He did really good. But apparently people love Stephen Fry as well. I haven't given that version a shot yet, but I would love to hear more Stephen Fry. I think he's a treat.
Yeah, I think he has 3 books out right now about the Greek mythos. Mythos is what it's called. Sorry.
I was going to say 3 books. Does that mean Harry Potter, Troy, and this other one?
No, there's Mythos, Heroes, and Troy.
All right. Very cool.
And they're all retellings of Greek myths, and he does a really good job. He makes it funny and very Stephen Fry. I thought of that after our episode ended. I'm like, I should have told him.
I'm looking that up after we're done this episode here, but I love how that just brings us right back full circle to The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Stephen Fry. Well, again, links to all their stuff are in the show notes, so be sure to check them out there. At this point, again, please rate, subscribe, tell a friend, and submit your own trivia. Just click the link in the show notes to do all of that. Ashley and Abby, thank you guys so much for coming back to the show, for doing trivia with me. It means a lot.
It's my favorite. I love it. I will definitely, anytime you invite me, I will 100% be on board.
Here.
I appreciate it, guys.
Even though I was really hard on myself this time and I didn't watch the movie beforehand, I think I did okay.
I think you did great. Listeners, again, thank you, and stay tuned for more trivia.